Thanks for coming out. It's good to see a lot of enthusiasm for the University of Michigan. We're 7 practices in to this point. I think we find a lot about our team each practice. They have come with great energy, which is an important part. I think there's a sustainability that we need to have during those practices because of how we want to compete, late in football games and you win championships in November in this league. So that's an important part that we talk about every day. I think, we're pretty healthy from that standpoint, which is always good, and we'd like to keep healthy. There's a lot of competition, and I talked to you all on Thursday, so you probably realize that the competition is what really is going to make our program on a daily basis, and the evaluations and how we compete with each other. We have 2-a-days again tomorrow, and that's when you find out a lot about the struggles and who the leaders, because of the struggles and the adversity that we'll have on our football team. And we had a good first 7 days. We're 20 days away, and we're not ready to play, and we've got a lot of work to do. Guys are willing, wanting. I think that part of it. I think, Larry, as you go through it, you always want to see the consistency. You hit in the morning and then see if they want to hit when you get them back in the afternoon. And that's why I think this week we have 3 of the 5 days, or 3 days, are 2 practices a day. And we will be in full pads for all those practices. We'll be physical with each other, and we'll find out who's consistently can bring it. There's always that anxiousness, that they want to establish themselves. They want to come out and really show not only the coaches but their teammates what they did during the summer and where they've progressed from the spring to now. He's doing well. I think he's this is a big stage, and you've always that mental part of going out there until you get on Main Street and you have 110,000. I think you've got to really see where the guy's at. But he's very consistent. I think he is one of those guys who really knows his technique and fundamentals and can do a good job of coaching himself. I think, he's taken all 3 phases on to some degree right now, punting, kickoffs, and field goals. And, he's done a good job with it. We've started freshman corners before, and running backs, so it's not that much different. The young guys, they miss some days or some time a little bit because they're finishing up their summer school, and coming here early. Part of that is an advantage for them to work out and all that. But Thomas has done a good job. He's a guy who's got some talent. I think as a backfield, we are unsettled. We have great competition, and you're looking for the consistency that you want to have from those guys on a daily basis. And, we've got some older guys who have played a number of snaps here that one day I think we're pretty good, or one practice, and then we kind of slide back. And that's the consistency that you're on them about that every day, because you can't be like that on Saturdays. You can't play great one Saturday and then fall back, and so that's the evaluation. And, we're still evaluating where we're at back there. And, I think Thomas, he's part of that evaluation. You'd like to have one guy, and you may have a situational guy out of the backfield or something like that and down and distance situations. But, yeah, we'd like to have one guy who could tote it 25 times, carry it 25 times, and maybe another guy gets 7 to 8 or 7 to 10, and then go from there. We'd probably like to get him 10 to 15 snaps of running with the football and put the rest of it on those guys who dot the I. The objective is to win, and we've got to do what helps Michigan and this team win. When you look at it, at the end of the day, the kids want to win. They practice hard. We've got to put them and give them a plan, Larry, that's going to put them in a position to win. He's just a great kid, and I think the thing that usually happens by the time you're a third-year guy is that leadership qualities really start to stick out more and more, and that's what I like what he's done in camp. He's taking charge. He's competitive. He's challenging not just the guys on the offensive side of the ball, but there's some competitiveness challenging the guys on defense. But he's doing it the right way. And so that kind of stuff is fun. Seniors are rooming with freshmen. Part of that is because to get to know them, set the example, set the expectation. I think there's some guys who've always done, Kevin Koger is probably one of the better leaders that I think we have because of who he is, his character and his integrity. But I think a lot of those guys are stepping up. I think he's a great fit in what we do. And he's done a tremendous job. We're fortunate enough that he has some other things that he brings to the table that maybe a guy doesn't. And I think it's progressing. I think, we're installing more and more, that we want to do and that he can do. We're not going to ask him to do things that he can't do. We wouldn't do that to Devin or him. So that I think he's doing great with it. Well, you've got a system that you want to run, but you're not going to put a square peg in a round hole either. So, I think, and that's what Al's been able to do. And if you follow Al's coaching pedigree and what he's done, he always seems to make the right fits. That's why he's at Michigan. And he understands playmakers need to have the ball in their hands. They're the ones who have to make plays for you. But, at the end of the day, we still got to block up front, and we got to knock people off the football if we're going to be successful no matter what you do. He's a tremendous football coach. He's a tremendous leader. He's got great integrity. And kids, their relationship that he builds with kids, 18 to 23-year-olds, and the motivational things and just how he, frames up what your defense is, but on a daily basis, the fundamentals and techniques that you want to play with. He's, coached a lot of football, coached a lot of guys. So I think he brings so much from a knowledge standpoint to a guy who's going to represent this team, with high character and integrity, and a guy who's going to pass that along to those kids on defense. What you got to do is spend a half hour with him, and his demeanor and his selflessness that you have to have, the sacrifice that he'll give for this team, to help the team. And, he's a tremendous guy, and I'm talking about things not on the football field because, that will take care of itself, and I just, he's a guy that has impressed me, what he does in the weight room, what he does in winter conditioning, what he does all year long. He's always been on point, and, he's a great kid to be around. Part of Al's, is the guys he's coached, the places he's been, the different, when you're at Portland State and then, where you've got a whole different dynamic than when he went to UCLA, and then a whole different dynamic when you go to San Diego State, and it's just his, number one, his knowledge of playing the position, because he's worked, very hard to make sure that he's up to speed on quarterback play, and he did that 25 years ago, believe me. But he's always, I think when you look for the new things or what may be out there, and this is any position, when you want to look at technique or whatever it might be, or scheme, you go learn about it. You go, make those calls and try and stay ahead of the curve, whatever there is, and how's that kind of guy. And I think he does a nice job of looking at what you have and what to do with it.
How did you get him to San Diego State?
Well, he's with us at how?
How'd you get to San Diego State?
Well, I guess my good looks. I mean, I don't know. That's a joke now. Believe me. He was a guy that I've known since 1989. I was at Oregon State. He was at Portland State. They would come down and visit with our offense, and we'd chat and talk and all that, and just known him for a long time. And I thought it was the right guy, obviously, and he is the right guy. I don't think we played to the standard that's going to be acceptable to this point. We need to be more physical at the point of attack. I think we need to have an urgency in some of the things when you either change your front, change your coverage, communication, all those things. And I think that we have to have a mentality of how we want to attack the football. So it's coming, but it's not like we'd like to have it.
Have you liked anything from the defense?
Yeah. Tom Gordon has been had a good spring. Kovacs, or a good summer, has really taken ownership, and I think Kenny Demmons, having Kenny back, he's done some really good things. A guy named Nathan Brink, who we kind of saw it at the end of spring, but I mean, as a 5 technique or a 3 technique up front, he's got a real physicalness to him, and he's a tough guy from what I can tell. J.B. Fitzgerald, the question was on Koger. You're talking about another guy who just stands out as far as his leadership goes and selflessness. He's been excellent. And so, there's probably other guys who have come along a little bit more, but we've got to have 11 guys at a time playing at the same level. And there's a fanaticism that you need to play defense with.
Brady, can you coach urgency, or is that?
Yeah, you can. Well, that's just it's what you accept, right? If we accept them not to get to the football, and we're not chasing them, and we're not doing what we need to do as coaches, then you accept the lack of urgency, all right? Well, we're not accepting that. We're not accepting that. That's not how we're going to play defense, And it's a culture that you got to always stay on top of, because that's how we're going to play defense. And if guys don't play that way, practice that way, they're not going to play, We'll take 23 kids on defense and go play games. I think there's obviously we've got a better indication of where we're at from a standpoint of teaching, learning, philosophy, all those things that have to go along with it than we were in January. There's a lot of improvement being made by this team since January when you see the attitude that they're coming to work with, and you see, the closeness and the competitiveness that they're starting to, in my opinion, really take hold of and embrace. And I think they're embracing. I think there's a realization, because we talk about it every night, of who we are and who we do represent and how special that is.
A couple more questions, please.
Brady, what do you say to people who say it's a new coach, new staff, it's going to take a few years, they can't turn it around right away?
I think I made this comment before, this is Michigan, and there aren't going to be any excuses. There's not going to, if we don't win the Big Ten championship, we've failed these kids as coaches. And Our job is to put them in the greatest positions where they can have success. And our job is to put them in positions where they're doing things the right way in this community and on campus, and the work ethic and the selflessness they need to have. And, if we don't do that, then we failed and we got to go back to work.